Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner plans to seek another term in office. More on that. Plus, Ferdinand Town Manager Chris James joins me to talk about Folk Fest on Monday with the mayor. And Jasper Library Branch Manager Christine Golden is tonight's guest on Informed. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner has announced his plan to run for another term in office. This morning, the Republican mayor made his announcement at Cool Beans along 4th Street in Huntingburg. In his announcement, the mayor pointed to the recent Stellar Communities designation and the projects that will be part of it as major accomplishments thus far in his first term. Spinner says with all that has been accomplished, he wants to be able to see how things unfold into the future.
There has a lot been done, but there is also a lot remaining to be done. And that's that's my motivation for seeking the office again, is that I am committed to seeing the Stellar Communities program through, and I want to see other opportunities and challenges that it presents. I think we have the methods, the ways to address those in the future.
Spinner says he is grateful for the support he's had from everyone in Huntingburg so far. He says that support will play a key role in the future if he should be elected again.
It's going to take a unified effort of both private and public concerns to keep those things on track. I think that we've also, in the last 2 years, as we've replaced superintendents, as things have changed internally, we've done a great job of identifying very qualified staff to make sure these projects move forward. So I think we're in a position to handle what lies ahead.
Now, Spinner was originally elected back in 2011. He received 59% of the vote that year. Democratic candidate at the time, Janet Schneider-Kemp, got the other 41% of the vote. Spinner has spent much of his life in Huntingburg. The 1974 graduate of Southridge High School spent many years in radio, including a tenure as news and sports director for our sister station, 101 Country WBDC. Spinner is currently running unopposed. He's the second local mayor to announce plans to run for re-election. Jasper Mayor Terry Seitz made his announcement a couple of weeks ago. In other news this evening, troopers with the Indiana State Police Jasper Post are continuing their look into a weekend homicide near Elnora in northern Daviess County. Just before 5:10 on Saturday morning, a state trooper was called to the scene of a traffic accident with injuries along County Road 300 East, just south of State Road 58. As he was arriving on scene, the trooper was told by two pedestrians that a man with injuries had been walking south along County Road 300 East. The trooper then drove south but was unable to find a crash or the injured man. The trooper then turned around and checked the area again and discovered 40-year-old Aaron Michael Byers of Elnora lying unresponsive in a cornfield on the west side of the roadway. Emergency personnel arrived on scene a short time later, but state police say Byers could not be revived. He was then pronounced dead at the scene by the Daviess County coroner. State police say Byers' vehicle had been driving through the cornfield and had hit a tree about a quarter of a mile southwest of where he was found. State police say detectives and crime scene investigators found enough evidence in the area to rule the death a homicide rather than from injuries in the crash. This case remains under investigation. Anyone who has information on what might have happened is asked to call the Indiana State Police Jasper Post. That number is 812-482-1441. A Daviess County man suffered broken bones after he crashed his motorcycle near Hayesville over the weekend. At 7:25 last night, DuBois County Sheriff's deputies were called to the reported accident along State Road 56 east of Hayesville. Deputies say 44-year-old David Holt of Odin had been going westbound on State Road 56 approaching Sundowet Curve. They say Holt had troubles with the glare from the sun and he didn't see the curve. Holt began to enter the curve, realized it, and locked up the back tire of his motorcycle. The motorcycle then skidded, crossed the eastbound lane of State Road 56, and ran off of the east side of the highway into a ditch. Holt was thrown off of the motorcycle in the accident. He broke his right arm, and deputies say he may have also broken his left ankle and leg. Holt was wearing a helmet, which deputies say reduced his injuries. He was taken to Memorial Hospital for treatment. The Hayesville Fire Department first responders, Memorial Hospital EMS, and a wrecker from Ubelor & Sons also assisted. Deputies with a Southwestern Indiana Sheriff's Department will soon be equipped with body cameras designed to collect potentially crucial evidence during police interactions with suspects. Last week, the Gibson County Council unanimously approved allocating $20,000 in riverboat revenue to pay for 20 cameras and computer accessories for the county's deputies. Now, Sheriff George Ballard told council members it was his job to bring the potential value of body cameras to the council's attention in the wake of a Ferguson, Missouri police officer's fatal shooting of a teenager that sparked days of rioting in that community. Councilman George Ankenbrand says the $20,000 for the cameras is money well spent if it can prevent a big lawsuit. Ankenbrand is a former county prosecutor. A new report says Indiana is among the top 10 states most reliant on sales taxes for their revenue, but a growing wealth gap between its richest residents and everyone else could put an increasing strain on the state's revenue system. The report, done by the credit ratings agency Standard & Poor's, says the rising wealth of the top 1% of richest Americans has been accompanied by a 3-decade-long slowdown in states' revenue streams. It says that funding squeeze and stagnant wages for most Americans are expected to increase spending pressures on education, infrastructure, and social services programs as states struggle to increase tax revenues. The report further says Indiana could be among the states that are hardest hit by that trend because it's so highly dependent on its sales tax tied to consumer spending. Finally this evening, Indiana's Commission for Higher Education is working to create a database on former college students who never graduated in hopes of finding ways to get them back to school. Officials say Indiana has some 737,000 adults with some college, but no degree. The State Commission is gathering information such as how many college credits those people have earned and how financial aid eligibility they have left. The Commission's plan is to contact those adults by January of 2016 and to eventually have 200,000 of those adults earn degrees. The Indiana-Purdue Fort Wayne campus tried to encourage such students to return by offering half-off tuition for this semester by about 3,000 people. IPFW says about 100 of those enrolled with the comeback program. All right, coming up after the break, Chris James joins me to talk about the upcoming Ferdinand Folk Festival, plus your local forecast, sports with Kurt Guxell, and Inform with Christine Golden. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.